For the first time, we have we go from a naturally aspirated V8 to a twin turbo, 6-cylinder, 3.5 liter, but we still have 442 foot-pounds of torque. Unbelievable. 0 to 60 in this car is actually 4.5 seconds, believe it or not. Quite heavier than before, even an inch and a half longer than our old long wheelbase LS 460. So it's come quite a ways. But take a look at this car if you can. You'll notice something different for us is going to be the grille. So this is something that painstaking process from all of our handcrafted architecture to make sure we have 5,000 different types of surfaces at different angles just for the grille itself. The funny story about that is we were on the Autobahn driving behind cars and no one would get out of the way no matter how fast we were going. We said this time when we make a grille, we're going to make sure it means business and people are going to want to get out of the way. That's really the story kind of behind that demonstrative approach we're really making is with Gen X and Gen Yers kind of move up through the ranks and able to afford this type of vehicle.
416 horsepower, made it to a 10-speed transmission, but there's a lot more to the car than that.
There's a lot more to the car than that, from suspension to tuning to we have different sport modes, Sport S Plus modes. We can control throttle responses, suspension, firming it up. You can even customize how the vehicle drives, how responsive the powertrain is, how responsive the actual suspension is, even make it as comfortable as you would like. Or if you want to save gas, you can do that too and put it into an eco mode.
How many computers in this car?
We have over 116 different computers just controlling the car itself. The seat refresh for all 4 different outboard seating positions. You can have 5 different types of massages and at 5 different levels of pressure that you can have inside the car. But even better than that, along with your seat refreshing, we also have the climate control that's actually controlled by who sits in the car. If the passenger leaves, the right front passenger leaves the front of the car here, guess what happens? It turns off the vents, it turns off the heating and cooling of that seat, even turns off the seat massaging for that particular seating position until another passenger gets back in the same seat, and then it will resume from there.
So how does somebody who has not driven a car with this amount of technology on it get used to it or figure it out?
Well, depending on how much of a base you have and foundation on technology, we start with what you know, what you appreciate. If you like the safety aspect of a car, we're going to tell you that the car can now physically stop on its own before it hits something and even steer out of the way. If you're concerned about the audio control, we'll tell you about a 7.1 surround sound system, but everything is in different stages. We can't tackle everything at once. Rome wasn't built in a day. The car wasn't built in a day. You're not going to learn everything in a day. So it's the same aspect.
How many airbags? How many speakers for that 7.1 stereo system?
So for the airbags, we have standard 10 airbags in all of our cars as well. 10 airbags for every single vehicle standard. In addition to that, with that surround sound system we're talking about, it's 23 speakers, 0.05 total harmonic distortion. We have 4 different speakers even on the ceiling itself. So it's very demonstrative. So for the display screen, usually when you get into the car and you start driving, the first thing you're going to want to do is tackle the radio. You want to make sure everything's set for the radio. So there's a simple radio button here. You can get to it a variety of ways, but you click on the radio button, and from here, using this trackpad, you can actually select AM, FM, Sirius XM, or even your Bluetooth audio if you would like. And then you can hit the map button as that starts to play and simply resume back to your navigation. Your climate controls, of course, here. But if you'd like to go into a different for your climate control, you can use this trackpad, select the person sitting there, and even adjust your temperature from here. You can go into other features as far as setting a destination. Let's get this off here. So you can set a destination by using this push pin here on the left-hand side. Click down on the push pin, and now you can enter in any your points of interest, your emergencies, whatever it would be from here. So for the steering wheel, we have, this is going to be, here on the left-hand side is going to be your menu button, which is right in front of you for your tachometer, speedometer, adjusting that. Here you can, of course, set the Bluetooth to your phone for audio and for any type of phone calls. Your volume controls here. This is actually your voice command. Selecting this button will allow us to give commands to the vehicle. And here on your right-hand side, this here is going to be your radar cruise control. Of course, your vehicle-to-vehicle distance in front of you.
Price, and when does it hit the market?
That's a good question. Pricing hasn't been launched or physically announced as of yet. I can give you a little tip and say that we're thinking maybe high 70s would be about the starting price. That's what all the estimates have kind of come into at this point, and you can look at that to arrive about February of 2018.